Hello, my name is Karen Rasmussen, and I'm privileged this year to be the president of the All Saints Lutheran Church Council. I haven't been able to meet or see many of you face to face for many months, and like you, I'm missing my All Saints friends. It's been quite a time. We are all dealing with many of the same things, but in different ways. One of them is fatigue. It's not just fatigue about COVID, it's just fatigue about the whole way we're having to live right now, and we understand that. So our challenge here at All Saints has been how to continue to provide ministry to our congregation and our community without necessarily having to do it in person. We want to thank you for your contributions to the health of our church over the last 6 months that we've been closed down. And your help has enabled us to continue to minister to the community. In a little bit, I'll introduce our treasurer, Ben Blext, but right now I want to call out some of the cool things that you as our congregation have allowed us to do this year, such as helping build a whole new kitchen for the Navajo Lutheran Mission, funding Chromebooks for children going to school at the Navajo Mission. And I could go on and on. You have been so generous, and we hope that we can count on your generosity going into 2021. Now let me introduce Ben, who's here to give you a little bit of an overview on where we are financially. Ben?
Thanks. I'm probably not nearly as polished as Karen is, but I just wanted to kind of go over some of the how we've been doing financially over the course of the last few months, and during this whole COVID time. Usually, fall of the year is always a little bit challenging for us, and this year is no different. But it's actually been much better than we had anticipated, given our circumstances right now. The beginning of COVID, when everyone was really concerned about how things were going to go with how we weren't going to be able to have in-person services, and what was giving going to look like during that time. And we have actually, our congregation has surprised us to a point that it's been amazing the entire time, where we've really, everyone has stepped up and really done a great job throughout the first, even right from the very beginning, from the first 3 months. Everyone's done a great job, and we've carried on through, even through now. We were able to get the PPP loan, which allowed us, we still have to ask for forgiveness for that loan, but it allowed us to kind of bridge the gap to keep us from needing to dip into any of our savings for any of our payroll and some of our other expenses through the course of the year. So that's actually, that helped us quite a bit. From the records that we have, we will be able to submit a request for forgiveness and should be forgiven that loan. So that really helped out through this course of the year. Thrivent, they had allowed us to pay on the principal, or they forgave our principal for 6 months. We were paying interest only. I know that was about $8,000 a month. So that is another huge help for us. 6 months, we were $48,000 that we were able to be kind of we weren't forgiven that by any means, but they were able to kind of let it slide for us for a few months. So those are types of things that we've looked at, even with Finance Committee coming into budgeting now, that those are things that we've been taking into consideration. Will we see that for 2021? Will we see things go back to more of what we're familiar with, what we're used to? Hopefully we will. And if not, will we see that again? I don't know. But during all this time, our congregation has been amazing, keeping their giving up. This time of the year, we always look for our stewardship and start to do our pledge cards. This year's the same. We're asking everyone, look into your hearts and see what you're able to do for next year, for 2021. Are we able to keep the same pledges? Are we able to step our pledges up a little bit? I would encourage everyone to pray deeply about it and really look at what we can do for 2021. We've been looking at how in-person services will come back in for 2021. That's been worked. We've been looking at that from a budgeting standpoint. We've also considered for 2021 that there's a good possibility we'll have to revisit the budget process maybe mid-year, depending on how things are shaping up for 2021. If we are able to get back to more in-person worship sooner, maybe we can look at a healthier budget. If not, maybe we need to keep trying to be a little bit lean, given not as much in-person worship. And some of the things that Karen had mentioned, the letter that we just received, everyone should have probably received it maybe today or at least this week from the pastors. There's a sheet that was in there for Aim to Doing Good, and it really summarizes a lot of the great things that we've done this year, and how we've just continued to give, not just to the church but to our communities and through all the different programs that we've done over the years. So it's been great. October, we had our giving was about, and I've got a few numbers here, excuse me if I'm reading from them, but October our giving was about $89,000 under what we had budgeted. However, our expenses were over $148,000 under what we had budgeted. So very good coming from that standpoint. Maybe the giving wasn't as much as we had budgeted, but our expenses, we've managed to keep our expenses low as well. So that brought us into a year-to-date deficit coming into this time of the year of only $2,200. So it's a great place to be in coming into the end of the year. Usually we're a little bit further behind than that coming into these last couple of months. But we're not out of the woods yet. We have, October was our first month of back to having full payments on our mortgage, and some of the other items that we had, our other expenses that we had started coming back in. So we're looking at October was starting to be more on the red side. So as our last couple of months are rolling in, we're asking if you're behind in your pledges, please consider catching up on them. If you feel coming into the end of the year that there's something more that you can do, great, and keep praying about it, and keep praying that we can get back to more in-person worship, so we can start seeing our fellow pew members in our respective Lutheran locations in our congregations. So that's about all I had. Karen, if you had a couple of things to wrap up on.
Thank you, Ben. And as you heard, we're going into 2021 in a fairly strong position. But we also recognize that we aren't going to be able to keep cutting expenses like we were able to do through the last 6 months. So please do pray about your contribution. Please do fill out your pledge card. It looks just like it always has, like this, and bring it to church or mail it in, because we'd like to know what everyone is planning to do for their pledges for 2021. Until then, we would ask that you pray for our church, that you pray for our pastors and for our volunteer leaders and for our staff. This is a hard time for everyone, but with prayer and with faith, we can get through it. God bless all of you.